There we go. All right, so welcome to Gentle Yoga. My name is Lynn. We're going to start in a standing position, finding our mountain pose. Feet are underneath our hips. Let's start by lifting our toes up, pressing in all four corners of our feet, and then softly set those toes down. From here, we're going to lift our kneecaps towards our hips, engaging our legs. Pull the belly button towards our spine, shoulders away from the ears, palms forward, and feel a little bit of engagement in the core and the arms. We're just going to breathe here. We're welcome to close the eyes if we're comfortable with that, or we can keep them open. Inhaling, ribs expanding in all directions. And then exhaling out the back of the throat and out that nose. Inhaling, let those ribs expand all the way down into that belly. And then exhaling out the back of the throat and out that nose. As we're breathing, let's check in with our bodies. How are we feeling today? Physically? How are we feeling mentally? How are we feeling emotionally? Just acknowledge how we're feeling today, honoring that as we move through our yoga practice. Letting go of all judgment and competition on the four corners of our mat today. And breathing, listening to our bodies. We're welcome to open those eyes if they're closed. Let's inhale, circle sweep our arms up overhead, and exhaling, hands through heart center. Inhale, lifting up, and exhaling through heart center. Just notice how our shoulders are feeling as we invite that movement in through our shoulders. Nice deep breaths in, and then exhale down with those arms. One more time, inhaling. And exhaling. Bring our arms beside us. Go into some lateral flexion. Right arm, inhale, lifting up. Lengthen the left arm down and then add that lean. Inhale, lift up. Let's switch it. Left arm goes up. Lengthen the right arm down and add that lean. Inhale, lift. Let's switch back to the right arm overhead. Lengthen through our body and then exhale across. Inhale, lift, switching again. Exhale, lengthen, and add that lean. Slowly release both arms down. We're going to do a chest opener. I'm going to turn so you can see palms like they're going in our back pockets. Elbows pull back. So pulling our elbows back, opening across the collarbones here, and maybe pushing the hips a little forward. We can gaze to where the ceiling and the wall meet. Really opening through that chest. Hopefully it feels great across the collarbones. Breathing. One more inhale. As we exhale, slowly lower those arms down. Let's go ahead, inhale, reach up, and then exhale, hands to heart center, and we're going to sit back into chair, weight back in the heels. Inhale, arms reach overhead. Exhale, sinking into chair, weight back over the heels, knees in line with our toes. Exhale, sit back. Now we can keep the arms here, or we can inhale, lift up, and exhale, circle sweep forward. We can inhale, lengthen. Finding that chair. Moving our arms however is comfortable for us today as we breathe. Inhale, lifting. Exhale, sinking. Noticing how our legs are feeling as we are moving. One more time here. Inhale, lift. Exhale, swan dive forward, forward fold. Soften those knees, tipping forward from the hip. Inhale, lift halfway up, hands to shins. Exhale, forward fold all the way towards the ground. Reverse swan dive up. Inhale, rise up. Exhale, finding chair. Inhale, lifting up. Exhale, swan dive forward, forward, forward. Inhale, lift halfway up. Exhale, forward, forward. Soften our knees. Inhale, rising up. Exhaling, finding chair. Inhale, lifting up. Exhaling, forward, forward. Holding here. Let's step both feet back to down dog, planting the hands on the mat. Finding that down dog, head between the shoulders, softening our knees as much as needed. And then let's go and walk the dog. Bend one knee in, press one heel down, and then switch. Alternating those heels. Feeling the stretch up those legs. Notice which leg is tight. Maybe one is tighter than the other. And then let's drop both heels towards the mat, finding that downward facing dog. Slowly drop our knees down to the mat. Hands come under our shoulders. We can do palms down, or you can use fists for wrists. Nice neutral spine. Hands underneath our shoulders. Taking a breath here. As we exhale, round the tailbone and arch up into cat. As we inhale, releasing to cow, lifting that head and chest. Exhale, tuck the tailbone, arching up into cat. And then inhale, releasing to cow. So moving with our breath between cat and cow. However quickly our breath is, that's how fast our movement should be. That big exhale in the round. And the inhale in the sway back. Just noticing how that spine feels today. Being aware. Listening to our body as we move through our yoga practice today. Coming back to a neutral spine. Let's go ahead and find child's pose. Sitting back over those heels, welcome to separate those knees a little bit more. Hands walk forward, pressing down into the mat. Breathing and holding here. Notice how we're feeling in child's pose. This is a place we can come anytime during our yoga practice. Feel free to come here and take a rest or a break at any time. Can also use it in place of down dog. Let's lift up and walk to the edge of the mat. I went to the right edge, sitting back in my left hip. So sitting in the opposite hip, feeling the stretch down our bodies. Inhale, lifting up, walk across to the other side. And then exhale back into that hip. And breathe. Feeling the stretch down the side of the body. Notice if we have any tightness there today. Inhale, lifting up, walking back to center. Body child's pose in the center. Inhale, shifting forward, and we're going to drop down to our bellies. Bend the elbows, coming to our bellies. And we're going to take our hands next to our chest. Feet are on the floor, about hip width apart. Take a nice deep breath in. We're going to go into baby cobra. Exhaling, lift up, squeeze the glutes. Slowly lower down. Inhale, lift and lengthen the head forward and up, baby cobra. Exhale, lower down. Squeezing our glutes to protect that back, lifting. And exhale, lower down. One more time, inhale, lift. And exhale, lower down. Pressing back into that child's pose. Inhale, rising up. Let's go ahead and bring our right foot forward, lunge it forward. And we can choose to have our hands on the ground. We want to make sure the front knee is in line with our ankle. We're in a kneeling lunge here, a little bit forward and feeling that back leg. If we need stacks of books or yoga blocks, welcome to put them underneath our hands. Just breathing here. We're going to invite a gentle twist into our body. I'm going to slowly take my right hand up in the air or behind my back. And I can just gently twist through the chest. Think about opening that chest up and looking over the shoulder and breathe. Slowly lowering down. Going to half split here. If you have those books or yoga blocks, we can pull them back if we need a little more height, or hands can go to the ground. Pull the toes towards the chest, doing that half split. Notice how that hamstring is feeling today. Shifting back forward, finding that kneeling lunge. Option to stay on the knee, or we can choose to curl that back foot under, lifting up into low lunge. If we're using books, we might need to change the height if we're on the ball of the back foot. Active through that back leg. We're going to slowly step both feet together. So right foot is in front. Remember that because we're going to switch to the left foot is in front. Forward fold, hands towards the ground. Soften our knees. Inhale, rising up. Exhale, finding chair pose. Inhale, lifting up. Exhale, forward fold back towards the ground. So we're going to step our right foot back. Left foot will stay forward. Or drop the knee down to start. So we are on our right knee, left knee forward, knee in line with that ankle, hands to ground, books or yoga blocks, kneeling lunge, shifting forward in that back hip. Notice if it feels different than the other side. We're going to go into that twist. Again, you're welcome to have the hands on blocks or books. We can take that left hand in the air or behind our back and really think about twisting that shoulder, opening the chest, breathing. Slowly releasing that hand towards the ground or stack of books. We're going to shift back into a hamstring half splits. So pull the toes towards the knees, slide those yoga blocks back if we're using them. Notice up the back of the leg, how are we feeling? Breathing. Shifting back forward. Again, you can have the hands on the ground or the yoga blocks. Option to stay on the knee or turn that back foot over, lifting up into low lunge. Dropping that back hip down, push through the ball of the back foot. Breathing. Maybe one more inhale. As we exhale, slowly stepping together, forward fold. Inhale, lifting halfway up, flat back, exhaling, forward fold. Soften our knees, inhale, reverse swan dive towards the top. Exhaling to chair. Inhale, lifting up. Exhaling, finding our mountain pose. So today I thought we would do some step back lunging, doing kind of a bird of flight. We're just going to step back and then together. So it's a lunge. We'll alternate sides. When we step back, we're opening wide. So from the front, looks like this. And we'll step together. And I'm going to bring my thumbs together, hook them together kind of like a bird. And then I'll switch legs. Okay? So we're going to inhale when we come forward, exhale as we step back. Are we ready? Here we go. Start with the right foot. Exhale back. Inhale together. Exhale to lunge. Inhale together. So moving with our breath at our pace. Kind of have to find the balance. So take our time. Lunging back and then together. Exhaling back. Inhaling together. Exhaling back. Inhale together. One more time on each side. And last one here. Step together. Nice job. Let's open wide just to the edge of the mat. So stepping long, toes turn out. We want our knees, we're going to squat down. We want our knees to go over our toes, middle toes, second, third toe. We're going to take our arms, inhale, lift up, making star. Exhale, elbows come in. Inhale, lift. So this is moonflower. Creating some breath work here. Exhaling down. Inhale, lift. Exhaling down. Lengthen through our body. Sink into our hips. Strong breath. Now we can stay with this moonflower, or we can choose to go to sunflower, which means we tip from the hip a little bit. Pinkies come together, thumbs come together. So when we bend our knees, we tip forward if we're doing sunflower. Make a big sun with our arms, like a big sunflower. Inhale, lifting. Exhale, sinking and tipping. Inhaling and exhaling. Inhale and exhale. One more time. And exhale. Inhale, lift up, hold. We're going to take our palms up, sink down to the hips, hold here. Hold the shoulders back. Breathe. Release the hands down, straighten the legs, turn the toes forward. We're going to go into wide straddle here. Tip from the hips, soften the knees, hands to the ground, lift the tailbone up. Shake your head yes and no, relax the neck, lift the tailbone, breathing. Now we can choose to keep the hands here, take them out to our ankles, reach behind us, fingertips back, or rest the hands on the hips, chest expansion, or clasp the hands, lifting them off. Any option that feels okay in a wide straddle, and hold. Breathing. Think about lifting the tailbone up, lengthen through the legs, shifting our weight towards our feet, and breathe. Slowly bring our hands to the ground, soften our knees a whole lot, hands to our thighs as we support and roll up, super down. Gonna switch it, bring our heels in, toes out. We're gonna go into a yoga squat, Hindi squat, sometimes I call it. We can stop with our elbows on our thighs, knees are over second and third toe. We can drop our hips down between our ankles if we like. Now, if this does not feel good on the knees, always welcome to come back up or take a child's pose. If we're all the way down, hands can be at heart center. We can push on the inner thighs with the elbows. Balasana pose, that's the Sanskrit name. Breathing as we hold. Notice if our heels are lifting, we're always welcome to slide a towel underneath them. Bringing our hands to the ground, straightening those legs, turn the toes forward. Relax the head, neck, and shoulders. Hands to our thighs, slowly rising up. Super down. All right, so we're gonna go to warrior two here. So we'll step our back foot back, keeping both feet pointing forward to start, and then take that left foot and turn it to the front edge of the mat. So right here, we got one foot forward, one foot to the side. Hips are facing the long edge of the mat. Sink down into those hips. Front knee, pull it to the pinky toe. Don't let it fall in to the big toe, pull it to pinky toe. Hands can come to heart center, or we can choose to lengthen and look down the fingertips. Warrior two. Now think about our whole body here. What's this back leg doing? Are we rolling the thigh down towards the mat? Are we engaging the front leg, pulling it towards the pinky toes? Are we squeezing our shoulder blades together? Warrior two. Reverse warrior, back hand to the back leg, front arm reaching up. Lengthen out of the ribs, sink into the hips. Breathing here. Inhale, rising back up. Exhaling to warrior two. Side angle pose, hand to thigh or ground. Other arm can be over the head, in the air, or behind the back. We're softly landing on the leg, dropping the back hip as much as we can. Side angle pose. Again, choosing where we want that top arm. Stacking our ankle, knee, elbow, shoulder, shoulder, all on top of each other as we breathe. Notice how we're feeling. We can look straight ahead or up at the arm or over the shoulder. As we inhale, slowly rising back up into warrior two. Reverse warrior, hand to the leg or behind our back. Front arm reaching up. Now think about really lifting out of the ribs as we sink in the hips, creating that tension in the front side of our body. And breathe. Inhale, returning to warrior two. Exhale, holding. Softening our feet, our arms. We're going to turn that front foot back forward. So we're back in a wide straddle. Then we're going to switch. Right foot's going to turn to the edge of the mat. So you might be facing the other direction with that foot. Back foot is facing the long edge of the mat. Right foot is facing the short edge. Sink down into those hips. Checking that back leg. Are we rolling the thigh? Front leg, are we pulling the knee towards the pinky toe? Adding arms, heart center or long. We're long, look down the fingertips. Squeezing our shoulder blades together, engaging our core, and breathe. Getting ready for side angle. Softly set that arm down to the thigh. Other arm can go overhead in the air or behind our back. Dropping our hip as much as we can, keeping that front knee in line with our ankle. We're looking straight ahead or over our shoulder. Breathing. Notice, does it feel different on this side, in side angle pose, than we did on the other side? Soften our knee. Inhale, rising up into warrior two. Reverse warrior, back hand to the back leg, front arm up. And also take that hand behind the back, reaching towards the thigh. Lengthening through our body, sinking into our hips. We can look at the arm or at the hand. Really feel the length through the front side of our body. Releasing back into warrior two. Softening both arms. Turn both feet forward. Wide straddle. We're going to slowly walk those feet in safely. And we're going to find our mountain pose. So if you'd like to be at the front end of the mat, we can. I'm going to stay here. So we're having our mountain pose, feet underneath our hips, shoulders back and down. Going into a balanced pose here. I'm going to start by picking my right knee up. I'm going to hold underneath my thigh. You can choose to stay here. We can choose to extend the leg and still hold the thigh. We can choose to extend the leg and take the arm out to the side. We can choose to take both arms out. And notice if our leg starts to drop, engage and come back to holding behind the leg, leg straight, knee bent. Maybe we take the knee bend, arms out wide. Slowly release down, tap it down. We're going to take our left foot to the side. We're going to find star pose, arms wide, little tip, engage the core. We can stay here. We're going to choose to bring those arms up overhead. Breathing. I'm going to bring my hands to heart center and then my foot in, and then we'll walk it out a little bit. Releasing that supporting leg. That's the one that was tired for me. Finding our mountain pose again. And we're going to start with the left knee up. I'm going to grab underneath my left thigh, pull the knee up, finding that single leg balance here. We can stay here. We can extend the leg in front of us. You can stay in either of those positions and take the right arm away. We can stay holding the leg or take both arms away. Any option for the bottom leg or straight leg or knee bent. Breathing. Slowly releasing down, tap the toe down and take it to the side. Arms wide, let's find star pose. Soften that right knee, lift the leg off the ground. We can keep the hands wide or we can narrow them and lift overhead, opening through the chest, breathing. Slowly bring the hands down, foot in, shake. Super job. I'm gonna go back to the floor. I'm gonna step to the front end of the mat. We're gonna go in through our half sun salutation. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, lift halfway. Exhale, forward fold. Stepping both feet back to down dog. Finding our down dog. Soften our knees. Head between the biceps. Tailbone towards the ceiling. Now we're going to shift forward into plank from here. So shifting forward with the shoulders, we can be on our toes or drop to our knees. As we exhale, back to down dog. Inhale, shift forward to plank or knees, toes or knees. Exhale, back to down dog, or we can choose child's pose. So if we want to be on our knees, we can stay on our knees. Inhale, shift forward to plank, kneeling plank, or on toes plank. Exhale, back over those heels in child's pose or down dog. Inhale, shift forward. Notice the shoulder blades sliding down the spine. And then exhale, back down dog or child's pose. Inhale, shift forward one more time. And exhale, down dog or child's pose. If we are in down dog, on our next exhale, drop our knees to the mat and find child's pose. Inhale, lifting up, laying on our belly. Bring our elbows under our shoulders. So check, are your elbows directly under our shoulders? And we're gonna go into a plank. So you can either have the hands together, you can wrap the hands around, or you can have the wrists and palms flat. Option first is to go on our knees into a plank. Be on the knees, or we can go to the toes. What we want to watch is the tailbone is down, not lifted. And if it gets really challenging on the toes, we can always drop to the knees. Holding that plank, breathe. Inhale, as we exhale, slowly lower the hips down. Take the elbows out, rest the head down. Inhale, lifting up. I'm going to keep my right elbow on the ground. I'm going to roll to my right hip. Then we're going to go into a side plank. If we're going to stay on the bottom leg, knee bends, and then we lift the hip up. If we want to extend both feet out, we can. Hand can be on the hip or in the air. So we're in a side plank on our forearm. Choosing our option. Hips are lifted off the mat. Focus on that hip lift. Breathe. Slowly lower down. We're going to switch sides. I'm going to flip around. You guys can just roll to the other side. Left elbow under the shoulder. Make sure it's right under the shoulder. Left knee bent. Left hip on the ground. So we want the knee bent if we're going to stay on that knee. Then we're going to lift the hips, lifting all the way up. Hand can be on the hip or in the air. And if we want both feet out, we can be out in that full side plank on the forearm. Breathing. Slowly release the hip down. Throw back to our belly. And lay on our belly, feet about hip width apart, hands together, rest the forehead on the hands. From here, we're going to go into a little locust pose. Bring our hands by our hips, palms are down, looking towards the mat. On our next inhale, lift the head, Squeeze the glutes. And on our next exhale, lift the feet and the hands off the mat. Locust pose. Engaging through the legs and the whole back side of our body, whole posterior chain. Inhaling. As we exhale, slowly lower everything down. Hands next to our shoulders, pressing up to child's pose. And then lifting up onto all fours. Let's do a little cat back here. Take a breath in, drop into a sway back. As we exhale, tuck the tailbone, arching our back leg. Do that again, and we can stop in neutral or we can go to sway back. And then tuck the tailbone, arching back up into cat. Coming back to neutral spine. Going into spinal balance here. Extending our right foot back behind us. So it can be on the ground or lifted off. Imagine pushing against a wall. And then left arm can stay down or it can reach straight out. I have a wall here, so I have to bend my arm. Inhale and exhale. Inhale, go to the diagonal corner. So foot to diagonal corner, hand to diagonal corner. Hold and breathe. And then come back to center and release down. Switching sides. Other foot goes back behind us. We can stay with just the foot, or we can choose to add the opposite arm forward. Pull the belly button to the spine, find a spinal balance, breathing. And then take it to the diagonal corners. Finger to the one corner, foot to the opposite corner. Coming back to center and release down. Finding child's pose, sitting back over those hips and drop the forehead towards the mat. Threading the needle. Taking my left arm up in the air, thread it underneath the armpit, palm up, and then sit back over the hips, looking under the armpits, and breathe. Feeling the stretch through the upper back, upper shoulder. Holding as we breathe. On our next inhale, pressing into the hand on the mat. Lifting up, untwisting. Switching sides. Right hand lift up in the air. Thread the needle underneath the armpit. Landing on the shoulder. Looking under that right armpit. Towards the hand, all the way down the shoulders. Upper back twist. And thread the needle. Pressing into the hand on the mat, inhale, lifting up. Finding child's pose. And if we'd like, we can bring those hands next to the shoulders or around by the legs. Whatever feels okay today. And breathe. Bringing our hands next to our shoulders, inhale, lifting up. We're going to have a seat with our legs in front of us. Legs out long in front. Sitting on our tailbone. Lengthening through our spine. Tip from the hip. Walking forward, finding that forward fold. Looking towards the knees. You can grab any part of the leg or foot that feels okay. Focusing on the breath. Going into a twist, walking up the leg, taking our right leg, and it can either stay here or it can cross over. Sitting up really tall as we hug our knee into our chest. Breathing here, pull that bottom leg towards chest. Then I'm going to add a twist if we would like to. Right hand next to the hip, Lengthen the spine first, and then twist low back, middle back, upper back, look over the shoulder. Can add the elbow if it reaches. That's a proportion of the arm length. And breathe. Slowly releasing back to center. And we'll uncross that right leg and bring the left leg in. It can stay here by the thigh, or it can cross over onto the floor. Hugging our knee into our chest. Bottom toes pull towards the chest, lengthening our spine long towards the ceiling. Now we can choose to stay here, or we can add that twist. My left hand is next to my left hip. Lengthen the spine first, and then we can twist lower back, middle back, upper back, look over the shoulder. And if we can reach with our proportions of our arms, we can hook that arm on the leg to hold the twist. Slowly coming back to center, uncrossing our legs. We're going to lay on the mat and finish our exercises for yoga poses on the floor. Start with those knees bent. Feet walking about hip width apart, close to the glutes. We're going to bridge. We're going to hold bridge, so you can option to do a chest opener when we get up there, or just hold with the palms up. Take a nice deep breath in. As we exhale, press into the hips, lifting those hips up. We can keep those hands on the ground, or we can kind of roll those shoulders and give a chest expansion with the hands underneath. Only if that's comfortable for us. If it's not comfortable for everyone, welcome to undo that chest expansion. Want us to focus on squeezing the inner thighs together. Our hips and knees are in a line. We're not letting the knees fall open. We're not letting them come in. Activating the backside of our body in this bridge. And if we're in chest expansion, let's release it. Take a breath. As we exhale, start at the shoulder blades and slowly lower down. All the way to the mat. Go ahead and hug both knees into the chest. We can rock back and forth or side to side. We're going to drop both feet to the ground. Just right here, take that right leg in the air. Grab behind the thigh. Pull it towards the chest. Push the heel up. Lengthen the back of the leg. Hamstring stretch. When we're ready, release the leg, crossing it over. Make a number 4. Hold that right toe towards the right knee. That helps lock in the knee and the ankle. Then we can choose to lift the bottom leg and hold, or we can grab through the leg and pull that leg towards us. It's a reclined pigeon pose. Breathing. Keep that chin tucked like you got fruit underneath it. Slowly releasing that foot down. Uncross the legs. Left leg in the air. Push the heel towards the ceiling, grab behind the thigh or the calf. Pull the leg towards the chest, pushing that heel up. Nice long hamstring stretch down the back of that leg. And breathe. Slowly release the leg, crossing it over, making that number 4. Pull the left toe towards the left knee, locking that ankle and knee in place. And then lifting the lower leg. We can just hold it there, or we can grab that leg and pull it towards us. Reclined pigeon pose. Check that you got a piece of fruit under the chin. Just breathe. Slowly dropping our feet down to the mat, uncrossing those legs. Bring our inner thighs and feet together so they're all touching. Arms come wide at our shoulders. And then let's drop our knees to the right side. If we need to, we can shift the hips a little to the left and then drop the knees to the right. And then look away from the knees, down the left arm. Just breathing, feel the spinal release here. As we inhale, slowly lifting those knees to center. And then exhale, shift to the other side. And if you need to shift those hips a little to the right before we drop them to the left, please do so. Shoulder, right shoulder staying down, look down the right arm. Lifting the hips, spine release. Inhale, slowly lifting back to center. And if we shift it to the side, make sure we are centered and square. Let's go ahead and bring our feet together, knees open wide, recline butterfly. Hands can be by the hips, on the belly and the chest, or long overhead. Breathing here. Think about inhaling through the nose, exhaling out the mouth. We do that for 4 breaths. Inhaling through the nose, exhaling out of the mouth. Inhaling through that nose, exhaling out. One more time, inhaling through the nose and exhale. Slowly releasing the hands back beside us. Bring those knees together. Hug our knees into our chest. We can rock back and forth or side to side. I'm going to give the option here to settle into your Shavasana. Remember, this is going to be extended Shavasana. Feel free to stay with me as long as you like. So for Shavasana, if you want to send those legs up the wall, we can. We can lay on our back with our knees bent, feet together. We're welcome to extend the legs long. Just finding that comfortable place where we can sit for a good 10 to 15 minutes. Okay? I'm going to talk you through a good relaxation. I'm sitting up, but I want you to find that place that's comfortable. If you need a prop, a pillow under your head or your knees, please do so. And we're just going to focus on the breath. So finding a place that we won't be disturbed. And making ourselves super comfortable on the floor, whatever, propping, whatever we need. If you feel like you're going to get cold, please feel free to throw a blanket over you. Let's start by closing our eyes if they're not closed yet. Let's listen to the sounds around us. The sounds outside of the room. Maybe follow the sounds without analyzing them. Just become aware of the sounds as something external outside of our bodies. Bringing our attention to our body and take a deep breath in. As we exhale, feel ourselves letting go. Do that again, inhaling a deep breath in. And as we exhale, feel ourselves letting go. Let's focus on where our body meets the floor or mat. Noticing where we're in contact with the floor. Feeling fully supported as we breathe. Staying here with this sensation for several breaths. We're going to rotate our awareness around our body. We're going to go from right to left side, up and down the body. Starting with our right thumb. Right thumb, index finger, middle finger, ring finger, little finger. Right hand, right elbow, right arm, shoulder, right hip, right leg, right foot, right big toe, second toe, third toe, fourth toe, fifth toe. Left thumb, index finger, middle finger, ring finger, little finger. Left hand, left elbow, left arm, shoulder, left hip, left leg, left foot, left big toe, second toe, third toe, fourth toe, and fifth toe. Now go to the back. Become aware of the right shoulder blade, the left shoulder blade, the right buttock, the left buttock, the spine, the whole back together, the whole back together. Now go to the top of the head. Top of the head, the forehead, both sides of the head, the right eyebrow, the left eyebrow, the space between the eyebrows, the right eye, the left eye, the right ear, the left ear, the right cheek, the left cheek, the nose, the tip of the nose, the upper lip, the lower lip, the chin, the throat, the right chest, the left chest, the middle of the chest, the navel, the abdomen. Become aware of our natural breath. Focus attention on the breath as it moves in and out of the body. Notice where our attention is drawn and what the breath feels like in this moment. Maintain awareness of the breath and the movement of the breath as we breathe in and out. Feeling the natural rhythm of our breath, the inhaling and exhaling. Feeling the breath move along the passage between the navel, the throat, all the way to the nose. And the inhalation rises from the navel to the throat. And on the exhalation, it descends from the throat to the navel. Be completely aware of our breath. Count to ourselves mentally, following the rise of the breath. And then start that count over again with the fall of our breath. Noticing if our breaths are getting longer with each breath. The breath may become slower and more relaxed. Notice if we're feeling any heaviness in our bodies. Become aware of that feeling if we're feeling heavy. Is it in every single part of our body? Do we feel ourselves sinking into the floor? Being aware of if we have heaviness. Awaken the feeling of lightness. Maybe we're feeling lightness or weightless. And sensation of lightness and weightlessness in all of our body. Our body feels so light that maybe it seems like we're floating away from the floor. Awareness of the lightness. Focusing on our breath. Maybe bring awareness to any body parts that are feeling any tension. Think about bringing our breath to that area. And as we exhale, letting that area relax a little more. Just focusing on the breath. Notice what sensations we're feeling. Are we feeling calm? Are we feeling at peace? Are we feeling relaxed? Just be aware of how we're feeling in this moment as we breathe. Slowly, taking our time, if we are ready, begin to move our body in any way that feels good. Maybe giving it a little stretch, maybe finding some movement in our toes or hands. Coming back into this present moment as we're breathing. If we would like, we may start adding more movement, bringing more movement into our bodies. We may hug our knees into the chest one at a time. Both knees together, whatever feels good. And rolling to one side whenever we're ready, if we were on our back. Taking our time again, whenever we're ready, coming to an upright seated position. Sitting however is comfortable for our bodies. Let's take some breaths together here to end our practice. Take a nice deep breath in. And exhaling out. Inhaling and exhaling. One more breath in here. And exhaling. Bring our hands towards heart center. The greatness in me honors the greatness in you. Namaste. Thank you so much for joining me today. Again, my name is Lynn. I will stop the video and unmute.